here. Look here. That's it to you. Okay. That's it here. Maureen, I think um you need to request to join. Let's see. Maureen, I just added you on. Okay. Hi.
Hi,
Hi, good to see you. How are you?
you too. Thanks for having me. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Maureen, you're gonna have to help me. How do I pronounce your last name?
Bvuma.
Wuma. Did I get
Bvuma,
it?
yes. Yes,
Yay,
you
I
did.
got
You
it.
did.
Yay. Welcome to the show. Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to the Storybook series with IB and Maureen today. The essence of this book captured people's whys in writing their books, and I'm excited to have Maureen on today. So, fun fact: this is the first time Maureen and I are actually seeing and speaking. We've been chatting though, yeah, but this is the
Sorry, I
first
couldn't hear you
time.
properly. I think the network was
I
a
said,
little bit.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Okay, great. I was saying a fun fact that this was the first time we were actually seeing face to face.
Yeah,
Hi,
it is. It
welcome,
is.
Mr.
It
T.
is.
Wow, more I must say you are very, your life is very inspiring. And when you sent me and I'm trying to pull up your profile. When you sent me your
Mm.
profile, I was like, this is quite interesting. Really. So I'm going to read Maureen's profile. So Maureen Vuma, I got that right?
Yes,
Did
you
I get
did.
it?
You did.
Okay. Is a young woman who believes that in order to get the best, you have to give the best. And there's no other way to keep going either than to put your best foot, rather than put your best wheel forward. I saw the irony in that and keep rolling. She's 35 years old, born and bred in Johannesburg, and graduated from Rosebank College in 2007 with a diploma in media and journalism. She's a lover of words, music, and passionate about diversity and self-discovery, and currently pursuing a human resource management diploma. Currently, she is an employee at Private Bank in Sandton, Johannesburg. Welcome, Maureen. Have you been outside
Thank
Johannesburg
you.
before?
I haven't. I really haven't. I think it's one of my things that I really need to start doing, actually, just travel and, visit other countries.
What would you like to do?
Maybe I should come visit you soon.
Please do. I live in Lagos. What other countries would you like to visit?
I would love to go to Mozambique. Um, sure, what other country I'd like to go to? I'd like to go visit Australia one day just to see what it's like. But yeah, I think, I'm not really, it would have to be a really warm place. I'm not really a fan of cold weather, so I would have to look for a really, really warm country to visit. But yeah.
Okay. So you wrote the book Queen on Wheels.
Yeah.
Um at what point did you know that you wanted to write your story?
Um, sure. I think always from high school that I've always felt that I'm gonna write my story. And it wasn't even because I was told that I need to. I just felt that I'm gonna have to tell my story one day, because um, it just felt like people needed I guess to be inspired to look at something that is different and go, wow, okay, that is actually possible. So yeah, when it happened, I was very, very excited. I was nervous to have to share my story. I feel like it was quite a personal story to share with the world. And it took a lot of me to actually do that. And, having shared it, it's liberating.
Wow, I find it interesting that you use the word liberating. How long did it take you to write it? From the moment you knew you wanted to write it to make up your mind to finally do it? How long was that process?
Sure. It took me about 2 years because I was writing and deleting and starting over and removing things. Yeah, it was 2 years to be exact. But I'd say I've been writing since forever. But my book initially it did take me 2 years to write it. So it was quite an interesting process to go through, but yeah,
Did you have to do it alone?
I did. I did. I did it alone, because I felt that I could tell it authentically by myself. I didn't want it to be diluted in any way because I just felt that, what, somebody else would probably come in and be like, yeah, maybe you should try and change a few things here and there and make it fancy, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be as authentic as possible. I wanted to be very honest with myself, and my story, and um, I wanted to allow myself to either feel the pain, go through the
Mm.
motions, and just put it on paper without actually being told, no, that's a bit too much, or maybe you should add other things to make it lighthearted. Um, but I also do think that I did make it, I mean, I'm a very light-hearted person, so I do see quite a lot of things in a very different perspective. So I did try to bring that in my book as well, and a little bit of humor here and there, but and a bit of a play with the words here and there, but I was very honest with the story that I had to tell.
So you said at the end of that you felt liberated. It was liberate. It
Yes,
was a very liberating experience.
yes.
What do you mean by that?
Um, how do I explain it? So I felt that the reason I use the word liberation is because um, as a person who is born with a disability, right? You feel that you go through life with trying to prove yourself. And when it came to my book and writing it, and at the end, it just proved to me that a lot of the things that I did, it wasn't a matter of um, proving myself, but it was just me. And I guess I saw myself through my book, and it made me feel good about the fact that I've been authentic in reality and as I have been in writing. So it was
So
quite a
what?
liberating feeling. It was freeing.
Yeah. That's what I hear
Yeah,
you say is it allows you to discover the part of you that really does exist and knowing that okay,
yeah,
apart from this disability, this is me, this is who I am, and I want you to
yeah,
know me for who I am.
yeah, definitely,
Do you
definitely.
think that others were able to identify with this? People that have read your book, do you think they've been able to identify with what you were trying to portray through your book?
I've had quite a lot of different reactions with from people who have read my book. Some who've known me have, I guess they've gotten to know another part of me that they didn't know, and some
Mm-hmm.
who've never met me, they were just, I guess, shocked by the type of person that I am and my life and how I portray it in my book. And some have been inspired. I mean, it's been, yeah, the emotions have been crazy. Um, and they've been quite interesting to see and experience, especially from through somebody else's perspective or somebody else's eyes, somebody analyzing my life through their eyes has actually been very interesting and scary as well. But yeah, it's been exciting. It's been exciting to see.
I think I would love to hear some of the like decisions people have reached by a result of really. Has anybody shared with you a decision or a struggle and how your book has helped them through that process?
So yeah, somebody has actually came once came to me crying, um, telling me like, how could you write such a book, Maureen? I felt that, it was so inspiring. I feel that now I can actually, that person felt like they were limiting themselves, even though, they didn't have a disability, but they just felt like they were limiting themselves. But because of my book, they were like, wow, you know what? If you can do it,
I can do
I
it as
have no
well.
reason not to. Yeah.
Uh,
So it's been quite nice to see. It's been quite nice to see and experience.
that's really beautiful. So, any future projects coming up? Any other writing projects? Are you working on any other?
Sure. So at the moment, I'm actually helping somebody write their book, which is a first for me. And obviously for myself, I really decided to just take a little bit of a break this year, and focus a lot on work and my studies because yeah, it's hectic on that end. So I don't like giving half-hearted time
Yeah,
when I do things. So I want to be able to write when I know that I've actually got no other projects that I'm working on.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, hopefully next year something else will come up.
So I have a question for you. Do you think the reason why you wrote your book is because you like words or just because you want to share a story? Because some people may think that, oh, I don't really like writing, so I shouldn't share my story. I don't really know what the right words to put together. And that may be their reason for not sharing their own story, even though they have an amazing story. So do you think yours was influenced from the fact that, okay, you have a background in media and journalism and that you really do love writing words? Do you think that contributed to you finishing your book?
So, I grew up as a reader. I grew up in a household where there were books everywhere, so I've always been reading. And also I'm very expressive when I write more than when I speak. And
Mm.
I've always written. I've always been writing in diaries. I've always been writing letters to God. I do mention that a lot in my book. I've been writing letters about how I feel all the time. So I've always been about words. And the only reason that I ended up doing media and journalism is because I loved writing so much. So I don't think it contributed to the fact that I studied it, but because it's something that I've always loved to do.
Okay. So for
Yeah.
someone who doesn't have that background or is not used to writing in a diary, and the person does have a story, how do you think the person should approach writing their book, for the first time? It's a new idea, they're getting to hear about it or they're still skeptical. What kind of words do you use to inspire them to know, hey, your story is valid?
Um, I feel that when it comes to writing, it's just like reading. It's not for everyone. I mean, I've got people who say I'm not a reader, I just don't like reading at all. But there has to be a way where there's other ways instead of writing that you can actually tell your story. There's podcasts, there's YouTube channels. So find a way to actually work that'll actually work for you to tell your story without having to write. Because really, there are some people who genuinely are not writers, but are good storytellers. And I feel that there's different methods to tell your story. It doesn't always have to be on paper. It can be on film, it can be in a
Mhm.
song. But find something that really inspires you, that allows you to be you. Because I believe that if you're going to tell something, you have to be authentic about it, no matter what it is. So don't follow methods that you are not comfortable with. Do what you are
Mhm.
comfortable with. So if you're a writer, write and get somebody to edit for you. You know, that's how we learn. How we learn to use the right words and the right phrases and, but yeah, just be authentic. Find ways to tell your story without feeling the pressure of I have to write it down. I don't believe that you have to write it down. You can tell it without having to write it.
So when you were going to write yours, did you inform anyone before you started, or you told
I
nobody?
didn't. I didn't. I told no one. I think it was also a big surprise for my family as well. The only
Yeah.
time they found out was when I got the manuscript, and I was like, guys, my manuscript is here. They're like, what are you talking about? So that's when I told them that, listen, every time I go and lock myself up in my room, I was actually writing a book and it's coming out soon. And they were like, whoa. That is big. So I didn't tell anyone. And also the reason I didn't tell anyone, like I said initially, is that I wanted it to be about me. I didn't want it to be about other things. I know that people would have come in to want to contribute and be like, oh, do you remember this? Do you remember that? And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to add those bits for a specific reason. So that's why I was like, okay, let me do this one by myself. Maybe the next one I'll let everybody in and they can, contribute as much as they want.
But how easy was it to pour yourself into it? Like being raw and authentic to yourself. How honest did you have to be? Did you think that it was important for you to be that honest anyway? How easy was it to go deep and then bring it out?
I thought it was very important to be that honest. You can't write a book about yourself and not be honest. I
Mm.
had to I had to really, really be honest and it also as I was writing, it opened up a lot of old wounds that
Mm.
I thought had healed. But obviously through the process, I felt that it was actually healing it all over again. And at some point, I was just like, it's getting a bit too much for me that I decided I'm going to go see someone about it and, just let it out and bring myself back to myself so that I don't actually get so consumed by what I'm pouring out that I actually forget that, listen, it's the past, it happened, you've moved on from it, So yeah, it was quite a journey. It was quite hard and like I said, scary because I had to be really, really honest with myself. But yeah, here it is.
And well done. You did such an amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you for blessing the world with your story. And like I said, it's really inspiring. I mean, I didn't read all your other achievements that you've done over the course of time, but I do see that you have a flair for children. There's something about children. I saw you help with an NGO for kids and also working with children's program and all. And um, any
Yeah.
children's book coming up at any time in the future.
So I've been tasked to do a children's book version of my book. So that's also one of the
Oh,
things where I'm like, how do I even start? So I think that's why I've kind of been delaying it a little bit because I wanted to also be that authentic and also be about the children. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's also going to be a first for me to do a children's book, but I'm also very excited about that because kids are such beautiful souls. Their curiosity is beautiful. And I do believe that if we start teaching our kids from a young age, the world would be so much better. We'd be more understanding of difference. It would be more accepting of difference. So, and they are our next generation. So
yeah.
we have to really start from somewhere. And if we can do it now, why not?
Yeah. I think that'll be really beautiful because the lessons you've garnered over the course of time, having a child, not have to go through a full process but get to the juice of it would actually help them come out
Yeah.
even more victorious at the end.
Definitely, definitely. And I think also it will help the parents as well, because I mean, I, especially when I'm out at the mall, there's a lot of kids who are very curious and they're like, "Oh, mommy, look, what's going on with that lady?" But then the parents are like, "No, just come, let's go." And I'm like, it's just let the child ask questions. If you feel that your child wants to know, let them come to me and ask. I don't have a problem with actually sitting down and talking to a child. I really don't. I have all the time in the world to do that, to be quite honest.
I think that's really beautiful because I think it's really about awareness. Because many times people don't know if they're being
Mm,
insensitive. So it's like where do we outdraw the line in having the conversation? And you putting out a book like that does help them know that it's okay, it's fine. We can talk
yeah,
about it. Yeah.
yeah.
Because when we shed light on the situation, we are able to bridge that gap in relationship, help children do better in people that are having their own form of challenges growing up. They know it's okay because it's not just about and I like what the example you gave about your friend being able to see that she was limiting herself in certain areas. It's not just about a physical disability. Sometimes it's mentally. Sometimes it's
Exactly.
it's in one form or the other. Everybody's dealing with it in one form or the other,
Mm,
and seeing how someone else is able to conquer it and being open and vulnerable enough to speak about it gives people the strength
mm,
to go through their journeys as well. And I think
mm.
that's really, really phenomenal. Really
Thank you,
phenomenal.
thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you so much. If anybody else has a question for Maureen, that would be great. We'll take that question. When the absence is that, I wanted to mention that Maureen's book can be purchased online. Hopefully, I can get to put this link up. How do I put it? It's Advance VANS CH. It's a very long link. How do I put this link up? But if you want to purchase Maureen's book, please send me a DM and I'll send you the link to get a book. Queen on Wheels, really a queen. You're really inspiring, Maureen. I must say, you're really,
Thank you,
really, really inspiring. Thank you so much
thank you.
for honoring the invitation and coming up and sharing more light on your book. You can talk more some more on your book. What you want people to know about your book, so they can purchase it.
So, what do I want to? Wow, there's a lot. Hey, firstly, it's about it's about family. It's about love and the importance of love. It's about self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, and self-understanding. I'm a lover of self. I know it sounds a bit vain, but I'm a lover of self in a sense that you need to learn to put yourself first in every situation. You need to love yourself first before you can expect the other person to love you back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and accept yourself as you are before anybody else can accept you. And I think those things, when you start with yourself, it makes it so much easier for you to actually go out into the world and receive it, and also go out into the world and you know, go over society's hurdles, because really society does have a lot of hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for a person like me, but for everyone. But it's also about how you see yourself and how you overcome those hurdles that makes it so much easier. Um, and also my book is really not about inspiring people that only have disabilities, but it's about inspiring um, everyone who feels that they cannot,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, where you just feel that you
Mm-hmm.
cannot, because
Mm-hmm.
there is no such thing as cannot. You just have
Mm,
to tell yourself that there's always a way around a
mm,
situation. Yeah.
mm. Wow.
So yeah, please do get my book. It'll be so much fun to read.
Wow. Please to get a book. Please send. You can send either more DM or send me a DM, and I'll send you the link to get the book. So thank you so much, Maureen. I'm so
Thank
blessed.
you.
I really
Thank you
am
so
really blessed.
much.
Really, really blessed. And if in the absence of no other question, I'll say thank you for joining. Thank you everyone who that came in. Super grateful to have you here. I should mention part of the reason why we're doing the series is to help people write their books. So if you want to write your book, I'm running a program from June 14th called Write Your First Book, where I put you through the steps that you need to complete your book. There's a 1 week course, or you can go through the academy and finish your book in 30 days. Whichever one you want to go through, I can help you through your process as well. Thank you so much, Maureen.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's such a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for
Okay.
tuning in. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.